This is an intimate crowd on Sunday morning.
That's right. We can deliver our most sensual material.
Okay.
So something important. A point of order. Point of order. Before we get underway, I've had many conversations with attendees to Pax South who will say things like, "Do you think you're going to come back again?" Or, "Please don't take the show to Austin." They say things. They say things in exactly. They say things in this vein. And I had a lot of conversations like this when I was in Australia also. So that like the first time we do a show, it may be that you have the impression that we are not serious about this shit. So I've only been here a few days, but I think I can do this correctly. This is y'all's show. Okay?
It sounded very natural.
Next year, about this time, in this place, we're going to do all this shit again.
All right.
All right.
First question.
Done.
What originally made you guys choose War Machine over the Games Workshop offerings? I am an avid tabletop gamer, and I'm always interested in hearing folks wax poetic about their chosen game. This is from Gabe in San Antonio. Are you here, Gabe? Nope, don't have to answer it.
He lives here.
Oh, but he couldn't make it to our show.
I know, right?
Gabe's kind of an asshole.
So what do you think?
I chose War Machine because of the models. I liked the factions.
Yeah.
Specifically, I forgot the name. They
War
were
Machine.
so great.
The War Machine.
No, the Holy...
Oh, Menoth.
The Menoth. I started playing Menoth and ended up playing Legion, but for a long time I played Menoth.
Yeah. So you like that sort of cream and wine?
Yeah, it was the Harbinger of Light.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the coolest minis ever. I don't know what you said. Up here it just sounds like roar.
But the main thing is also that, so Kiko is a pretty powerful force internally. True. He has a way of inspiring people to play whatever game he happens to be playing. But when I was younger, I had Necrons. I mean, I definitely played my share of Warhammer also. But War Machine, especially at the lower point scales, like at the smaller levels of points, it's a lot fewer models, and the system is a lot more direct, I think. And there's a little card that tells you everything that a unit can do. And that makes it a lot easier, I think, to sell to your friends, because otherwise you're just like literally just playing alone in your basement with your pants off. And that's
Is that what you do?
It's in the manual.
So has everyone here seen the Harbinger of Light?
Harbinger of Menoth.
Harbinger of Menoth?
Yeah.
Have you seen this model? It's like an angel trying to ascend to heaven, being held down by chains and acolytes. It's an incredible mini.
Well, it's a cool piece of art, but then when you actually see it on the table, like you had to pin the shit out of that. Like you basically had to sculpt this thing, right?
All the little chains going up to her.
Yeah, it's incredible. How hard was putting together Pax South in comparison to other editions?
Super easy for me.
Yeah. You were actually looking at the level of my...
Yeah, I was given a schedule and a plane ticket.
No, it's like I said, it's like it's like Starship Troopers for us. Like we're basically just in the orbital Pax satellite.
We're just fired down to a planet. Our dropship opens up and we come out on stage. Welcome to Pax, where am I?
And did you consider any other cities in the South region before settling on San Antonio? If so, what were they? Well, so, I mean, Robert is the consummate strategist for things like this. And I mean, you can feel assured that, you know, when the time came, he was going to try to find the right spot for it.
Yeah, I mean, for him, it's about the size of the convention center, the number of hotels that are nearby, how willing the city is to work with us on dates.
Right.
Like, there's all these factors that go into it for him.
And the fact that this building is, like, apparently in a continuous state of construction.
It's being expanded.
Yeah.
So we'll be here for a long time.
So we'll be able to, it's like I said before, like, we can actually plant here and then grow it here. Like, this will be the first PAX that actually starts and stays in the same building.
God, it is.
Right? The rest of them is like horse show.
Right.
Yeah. Not the same. This is better.
Woo. Ow.
You want to be a part of it?
Yeah, I want to be a part of it. What has Mike's love for Destiny done to the working relationship between Penny Arcade and Bungie? Nothing really.
Well, no, it's just like I can give you an example of
Really?
an uncomfortable experience that I have had.
Oh.
So I take my son to this climbing gym that's like a bouldering place. I didn't know that word before. Maybe you know the word. But if you climb up on these sort of like synthetic walls, and it's called bouldering. I thought it was rock climbing. It's not. I was an asshole. And when I see...
Is rock climbing a different thing than bouldering?
I think it must be. I'm not qualified to talk about it. And so...
Is bouldering just climbing on rocks?
I don't know.
Okay.
No ropes.
No ropes.
No ropes.
Oh.
And so... And it was... You know, when I saw my son climbing just on these really steep faces, I was like, I feel like I exercised. I don't have to do shit, you know,
That's
for the rest of the day. Like I felt exertion.
Yeah.
And so I was watching him climb, and then I looked over, and I saw a guy there, and he was like, hey, you work over for Penny Arcade, don't you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, hey, I work at Bungie. And I was like, cool, man. It seems like things are going pretty well over there. I know that Mike really likes it, and he's like, I'm glad somebody likes it over there.
Wow. Wow.
So it's the relationship is very complicated because there is like half of the office that plays it like in a almost religious way, and then the rest of the office teases those people mercilessly.
Yeah, there have been games in the past that have divided the office where a group will like the game and then there's a group that just isn't playing it. But the group that's not playing Destiny like actively insults the group that is.
Can you do that knuckle crack thing? I think that would officially make this a real PAX. And so if you do not know about the knuckle crack thing,
we're all going to crack our knuckles at the same time, and it's going to be gross.
Don't crack it yet. You're
going to
lose your crack.
We're going to count.
All right, we're going to count. And so I want to be very clear. It's 1, 2, 3, then crack, so that it's quiet and we can hear this gross sound. Okay? This is from the very first PAX.
Yeah.
This has been a thing. 1, 2, 3. God, there's a very crisp southern knuckle.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Do you remember the other knuckle thing we learned today?
Oh, okay. We heard a term that
maybe it's a Texas word. I don't know.
I have never heard the term moose knuckle.
They know it.
See, they know exactly what the. And so the guy said, "Hey, have you seen any good moose knuckles at the show?"
And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Is this a barbecue thing? I'd love to eat. It sounds great."
Exactly. Like, where can I? Who has the best moose knuckle in town?
Yeah. Are they smoked? Are they deep fried? I don't care.
It's a hickory. I need a hickory moose knuckle.
It's a penis. Louder this time.
Oh, that's the red envelope?
Significantly louder. Would you say that one has to make their own confidence in pursuing what they want to make of themselves? Or is it better to find/make a friend who will always instill the confidence needed to push you forward? Daniel from Birmingham, Alabama. I would love to find a friend who instilled confidence in me. I think that would be fantastic. Are there people like that who are supportive?
There's people who just like slowly digest you.
Yeah, rather than anchors around your neck. Thanks. That's what I need to hear.
You guys can hang out. Yeah, I mean, part of it is that, especially when stubbornness is a good stand-in for courage.
Yeah, and
sometimes it looks like courage or even intelligence when really you are just too pig-headed to not do something dumb.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is I think there were a lot of times when we should have quit And it wasn't confidence that kept us going. It was just
you know
we
what
didn't
it was?
know any better.
We didn't know any better. God, I wish I could say that it was just we didn't know any better, and so we just sort of blundered into it. You know what it was?
No, I don't.
Is that somebody fucking told me I couldn't do it.
That helps too. Yeah, if people say you can't do it, that helps me.
Yeah, I mean that basically turned my mind into a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, I think confidence is overrated. What you need is stupidity. And a willingness to continue to fail.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm failing over and over again. A normal person, well, maybe that doesn't work.
Yeah, I should probably stop.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ah.
Should this have been a red envelope?
No.
Oh.
What's the status on Jerry's Lookouts novel?
Oh, snap.
Nah.
Well, in 2 weeks, you'll have a first chapter.
That's right. That's right. At the very first Q&A, so Pax South is already paying fucking dividends, first of all. At the very first panel, he basically got us to commit.
Each of us to commit to something for 2 weeks, and you
Right.
committed to write the first chapter of the Lookouts.
So you were going to go back to the Iron Church and worship.
I'm going to work in the gym for 2 weeks.
That's right. And in
Get
2
swole
weeks,
thereby.
in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, I will post on the front page of the site.
I'm going to make sure he does it, too.
Yeah, I will post on the front page of the site the first chapter of the
Now,
Lookouts book.
I mean, you've been thinking about it.
Oh my God!
In
yeah.
fact, you have Lookouts names, right?
Oh no, I can see them doing it. Like I would be like a embedded reporter. I mean,
You
I could
just have
just
to
watch
write it
them
down.
doing shit and write down what it is if we didn't have a PAX every 2 weeks.
All right. I got it.
Good job.
Theoretically, if virtual reality was perfect in every way you could conceive of, are there any fictional universes that would tempt you to utterly and completely abandon reality to live out the rest of your life in a digital realm? This is from Gabriel G. in San Antonio, Texas.
Another classic.
Oh, man, if virtual reality was perfect in every way. I mean, there's definitely like a Sword Art Online problem, right? Where you think that it's going to be awesome.
It starts out this
It starts out really cool. No, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's probably WoW, right? I mean, I played it for a decade. I think that I could probably manage myself in that world. Pokemon? Yeah, Pokemon would be pretty good too, actually.
Yeah, you know what I would actually like? I would actually like something like. Have you ever played Rust?
What?
Yeah, no, I would actually
That's
like.
terrifying, and it's not. You would want that to be utterly real?
Well, no, there's things.
Naked men running around at night stealing your fire and your rabbit?
I don't want that part. I don't want like.
Do you remember that guy that we got?
Which
Remember
one?
we
'Cause
found the
'cause
gun?
We were as bad as you could possibly
So,
be in Rust.
who here has played Rust? Some people. So Rust is one of these games where they drop you.
No, hold on. So did you play Rust with the flag that shows all the dicks?
Okay. So Rust is a game where they drop you naked into a wilderness with nothing.
A rock.
A rock. You have a rock, and that's it. And you're expected to build a new civilization. And somehow, I don't even remember how we did it. Like somebody had gotten eaten by a bear, and we found their backpack, and I had a pistol. And it didn't even have any bullets in it. But the power of that pistol in Rust was incredible because it's permadeath, right? If you die, that character is dead.
Oh, God.
So we're running around. Jerry's sitting next to me, and I'm at the controller, and I'm buck naked. I've got my gun, and we found a guy running, and he just had a rock, right? And so I was like, and there's voice communication. So in my headset, I'm like, I point the gun at him. I go, "Give me your pants," because he had pants, and he's like, "No." And I go, "I'm gonna shoot you. Put your pants on the ground." And so he did. He took off his pants and he put them on the ground. And I go, "Turn around. Don't look at me." And so he turned around. And I put his pants on, and I said, "You get to live this time." And then he ran away. Like, that was an incredible experience.
But here's the thing. But the power of the sidearm is such in this game, Because they're just basically what you're doing. If you kill somebody in that game, it's like vampirism.
You're stealing their time.
You are stealing like their life force.
Yeah.
Right? And so you had to go through all these, machinations to get these pants. But there are also people who, as soon as the gun comes out, they will just put their pants on the ground and run away.
Yeah, we saw that person next. I just pulled the gun out and pants came off.
But no, I don't want to live in a dystopian future where
Full
a man
of
with
dicks.
no pants threatens to kill me. That's not my fantasy.
Yeah.
My fantasy is to be in a place that has everything that I need that I can put together.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Like
Minecraft.
like Azeroth, I do not want to fucking live in Azeroth. That is a shithole.
We don't live in Azeroth. I mean, you live in Goldshire
They
or
got those
someplace
crazy
nice, like,
rabbits. They got those dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? They got gnolls. I want to live in a place.
Now I'm trying to think like where I would want to like retire in Azeroth. Like, where's a good place to live? Oh, Booty Bay. Yeah, that would be good.
They got the statues. Go ahead.
Throughout PATV's history, and especially in its new hire episodes, it was suggested that the intimate office space and small number of employees create a tightly knit group of friends who work together. Has moving into a larger office space and hiring even more employees changed the vibe of Penny Arcade? We haven't seen a lot of PA office shenanigans on PATV in the last couple years, and I think that I speak for a lot of people when I say we miss it. Thanks, Michael, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Well, if you
I don't even know the names of the new people we hired.
It's Frank.
We'll call him that.
Frank. It starts with an F and an R. No, so if you actually do crave office shenanigans, the Club PA actually has a staff podcast that is just people who are not us.
Yeah, it's just everyone else in the office on a podcast talking about
Right.
funny stuff.
But it is not. What you have to do is you have to be really careful when you bring somebody new in. I imagine it's like a swingers club.
What?
Not like literally, but I imagine that they have the same problem. So when you bring somebody in, like you need to make sure that they're going to be a good fit. Obviously not literally, but you.
Well,
need,
I think literally for the swingers club.
Well, in the swingers club, yes. I'm saying that
Yeah.
in our context, that's not a huge part of it.
It's not any part of it.
It is not any part of it. But
I mean, we don't have an HR department, but I'm pretty sure that's not okay.
yeah. So, but like when I think about like the two newest people that the three newest people that we have are just they're great. Like they're really great. Yeah. We've got Frank and
Guy.
Yeah, Jarmwa.
In person.
Jarmwa is probably the best.
No, I say it's still very tight knit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 15 people. I mean, it's not a lot.
Yeah, you can maintain that family vibe.
But also, I mean, this is something that we all sort of recognize, too, after we've been in the big office for a while. And we've made a point now where Fridays are sort of like
What's it called?
fun day.
Yeah, it's called family lunch, first of all.
Yeah, so we all make a point on Friday to at least get together for lunch. And then whoever can, we go play games or we see a movie or we do something on Fridays as a group.
Right.
So.
Jerry, there are some old comics that show your true name to actually be Keith, not Jerry. I sincerely hope I'm not evoking some painful memory by asking, is there an explanation for why you go by Jerry? And then also Tycho, or is it just a writer pen name thing? Oh, that's interesting. That's way more interesting than the truth. Is this the reason I've not been able to summon you?
He doesn't know your true name.
That's right. Andrew, Connecticut. I mean, that's got to suck, dude. You got the blood. You got the...
Yeah, the candles are lit.
I mean, you've done everything in the ritual.
The circle is made.
You get some other
and
guy.
there's no Jerry.
Some other guy shows up.
Yeah.
What do you want? No. So my name is Keith Gerald Holkins. So Jerry is from Gerald, and Keith is my dad's name. And they had the idea, I think when I was young, that I would be named after my dad. But then they realized that having two people with the same name is a huge pain in the ass. So before my first memory, they called me Jerry.
That quick, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so if you go back far enough in the archive, you'll see that my true name, maybe this is why he's having trouble.
Oh, don't reveal it.
Yeah.
Don't reveal it.
My true name is actually Keith Gerald Parkinson.
You just wink out.
But then when I got married, we actually combined our names because that's what we did. Yeah, that's what's up. So that's the explanation. Well, because, I mean, we considered, like, because sometimes you hyphenate, and then we were like, well, what if our kids gets married? Then there's, like, 2 hyphens? Like, that seems like a huge pain in the ass. Interesting. Is Koo still set on never getting married?
Yeah, as far as I know.
As far as I know. I mean, remember, originally the vasectomy thing was supposed to be like a triple date. Like,
right.
we were all supposed to just get it done at the same time.
We were all going to sit down together in a row.
Well, they just go down in a line. Just
right, chunk, chunk, chunk. But that's not the same as being married. Like, you can get married and not have kids. I don't think he wants to get married.
I think that he is married to us.
Yeah, that's probably...
Does that sound more accurate?
Yeah, that's true.
Does that explain the dynamic?
Yeah. I think he's married to Penny Arcade, and we are his children.
Yeah, okay,
I think
that
that's the actual... Papa Koo, yep.
Now, why did you call it Pax South when it is so far north? This is from Bruce in Australia. So hold on a second. Is Australia trying to start some beef with Pax South? Is it like they're the new Paxes, so they have to vie for supremacy?
It's going to be like a dance fight. I guess it depends on your perspective. It's very south for me.
Whenever I think of the map, you know, USA is right there in the middle, so.
Yeah, I don't even think of Australia as south. I think of it as just elsewhere.
Yeah, you have to go, that's like Narnia.
You fly for so long, and you sleep, and you wake up, and you eat, and you sleep, and you wake up, and you're like, where am I now?
Civilizations are born and die.
Yeah.
You go through 2 or 3 iterations of your consciousness.
God, the last flight to Australia was so horrible. Imagine preparing for a 20-hour flight, and you sit down, and you're getting settled, and they've got that TV thing in front of you, and you're sort of scrolling through the movies. You're like, all right, I can watch this one. I haven't seen that. That looks cool. I'll watch that one. You've got 4 or 5 movies planned out, and then they come over the intercom, and they're like, sorry, our movies aren't working. We have no entertainment for this flight for 20 hours.
But it's more than that, because the menu still works.
The menu still works, so you're like, these are all the movies I can't watch.
Nope.
New releases, still in theaters.
So the whole time you're in the air, like, I'm still like trying to do it. It's like a
maybe it'll work this time.
it's like a dog just like sort of scratching the door.
Yeah. There's a long one. Jerry, when I was a kid, I always looked up to my video game heroes, and I really hoped that I too would have magical powers one day. Now I realize that there is a kind of magic that exists for real. Word magic.
Lexomancy.
That's not a real thing. With words, I can share love, instill doubt, inspire people, and even sway loyalties. Isn't that true, that the power of words can be tremendous and akin to eldritch incantations? Jesus, man. The order in which we use words can change their power significantly. What are your thoughts on that? Aren't we all wizards to some degree? Some more versed in the art than others? Francois, Montreal. I'm just going to go on to the next one.
Yes. Let's just keep pushing through. That would get out of hand pretty quick.
Let's pretend Penny Arcade is now releasing a new game console. What would you name it? Yes, you have to name it. Don't just pass it off to whoever. Justin Houston.
Our new system? But it's our system, right?
It's our system. You're the naming person. With your magic word powers.
But it's like,
cast your spell.
So, but I mean, we should probably be like, nah, because you have to tie it into all the stuff that we do, right?
I don't know. I'm not a word guy. I don't know your magic.
You know what?
How many of what you do is worth one of what I do?
You know what I would do?
What?
I would do it like the classic old school sort of blocky box with like the grays.
Yeah.
And the sliding switches, and I would call it like Excalibur. like in an awesome font.
No.
No, and all the games would come on little swords. And then just...
That's pretty cool, actually. I'll give you that.
Right?
That's not bad.
Like, every time you put a game in, you feel like you're the ruler of the Britons.
No, but that's wrong, right? You should be taking it out to succeed. Like, shouldn't you take it out to start the game?
Let me
It's a
have
dumb
this.
spell.
Let me have it.
You don't put the sword back
Shut
in
up.
the stone.
If you had one last day to live and you were locked alone in my basement. No. I'm sorry. It started weird. If you were locked alone in a super game vault with every game ever, what would you spend your last day playing?
Wow. We're in a vault. I'm in a vault alone with all games.
With every game.
And I'm going to die
Yeah.
at midnight.
Right.
Don't think I'd play games.
I would want to fill that time. Because remember, you're still in the vault.
Yeah.
It's like, what are your other options?
I guess that's true. I mean, there's stuff you can do. I mean, you only have hours left. You want to go out in a good mood. Right? Like, I don't know.
No, the answer is like Pac-Man or something. It isn't like, I'm going to touch my peep. Like, it isn't.
I didn't say that, weirdo. Wow. Where'd you get that from, pervert?
I don't know. I just paw on my groin.
Let's see. What would I play? You know what I might play is Res.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I would just go into that Res trance. It's very satisfying. I would experience synesthesia.
Yep.
One last time.
It's right.
It was. I'm pulling out a red. Oh, is it when I open it? I don't know. What is the biggest challenge you face as your core demographic ages? Jared in Dallas. I don't know that's a real challenge. I mean, we're aging with them.
Yeah. That's eventually what we figured out.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest challenge is, maybe it's not a huge deal, but sort of trying to figure out how to remain relevant to new people who, like young people. There's a kid that came up to... The youths.
I think that as soon as you start calling them the youths, I think you might have lost.
We've lost it. There's a kid that came up to us at the signing today, and he waited in line, and he brought his poster up, and he was maybe 15, which means he was born when we started. Maybe. And it was the 80s Gabe and Tycho poster. And I looked at him and I said, does any of this on this poster make sense to you? And he goes, no. Like, he didn't know any of it.
He doesn't know about the Power Glove.
No. But
he doesn't know about neon colors.
He likes Penny Arcade still.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We certainly don't try to court the youth.
But there have always been people who liked the comic strip, and I could never understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should start making comics about, like, skateboarding.
Or Markiplier. That's what we need to focus on.
Yeah.
He will be our subject.
He will. It's a week-long series of comics about YouTubers.
Honestly, that would kill.
Probably would. We should do that, actually. That's sound business advice.
Gabe.
This is for me.
It is. We see a lot of your real-life son, Gabriel, in the strip. What about Noah? Also, same for Tycho. Why don't we see much of your offspring in the comic? Any reason why?
You see a lot of Gabe because Gabe is, he's 10 now. And so we have conversation. I mean, all the comic strip is conversations that we have with people. And
including people that we invented.
Yeah, including the people we made. And sometimes those conversations are funny and they become strips. But
what happens a lot of times is that you will tell me about something funny that happened, not even with the intention of making a comic.
No.
and I'll be like, that's actually really funny.
That should be a comic.
If we make a comic out of that, then we won't have to write one.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. But, Noah is 4.5, and so the conversations we have are not on the same level. But eventually, I think he'll start appearing more. I mean, he was just in a comic, actually, about Minecraft. The sort of situation we have now where I have to tell one kid not to burn the other kid in lava.
Yeah, just incredible, brand new parenting shit.
Yeah, this has
no
not
one
been
ever
done
even
before.
imagined. But there are some examples. Like one of the favorite ones that I can remember is when Elliot was young and he was trying to figure out genitals, and I told him that I had 2 penises.
Daddy has 2 peepees. Yeah.
Daddy two
peepees.
peepees, right?
Daddy lies.
Yeah, and Daddy exactly.
Yeah.
And Daddy lies. But also, there's a really great one of Ronya that actually Ronya wants to see all the time.
The Titanfall one?
Yeah. It's called Titania, and it has and Ronya is in the very first panel of that.
She's in the last panel too.
Yeah. She's just. I try to tuck him in when I can, but a lot of times, before we're even trying to write a strip, something funny will happen about a conversation, and we'll decide that that's the right way to go. Do you have any good dad stories you can tell us?
Hey! Any good dad stories? I mean, I'm a dad all the time. 24/7. Just always dadding it up. You go first.
Chocolate milk. My sister had given me the wrong directions to where Christmas was happening. And the place was an hour away. So after driving for an hour, we arrived at a place that was not where she was. And so then I called her and said, this is not even a house. And then she said, oh, no, here's the real address. And this, too, was not a house. And at that point, I became as angry as I have been as an adult. And then I said, Brenna was like, so where do you think we should go? I'm like, we need to pull the car over. We have no idea where we're going. And I was like, I don't even know which way to turn here. And in the back of the car, Elliot said, to the left, to the left. To the left.
That's pretty good.
So, he has his shit together.
Yeah.
I am modeling improper behavior, and that really helped a lot.
That's pretty good. I don't know, I feel like I've told all my good dad stories. I think my best one is the Minecraft story about the terrorist who was blowing up things on Gabe's realm. Has everyone heard that one? Has anyone not heard that one? Okay. I can do a quick version.
Fire it.
Gabe came to us and said that there was someone on his realm, one of his people that he'd invited, that was blowing things up at random, and he wanted to figure out who this person was so that he could ban him. And there's really no good way to find that information out when you have a realm. They don't give you very good data. But what they do give you is sort of a log of times when a person has logged in and logged out. And combining that with the ability to sort of rewind the server until the things that were blown up are back. My wife Kara was able to sort of do like a CSI style thing where she's like matching the timestamps of the explosions with the log in and log out.
Did you ever have to enhance a coordinate?
Oh yeah, we had to enhance like 3 times. It was like enhance. And so while she's doing that, we're also calling parents and saying, hey, is your kid a monster? And the entire time, Gabe is like certain that it is Elliot, this kid over here. And I said, no, I'm not gonna call him. I'm not gonna do that until we know 100%. And then Kara comes to me with the information. She throws the pamphlet down on my desk, and I open it up. It's got pictures of him. He's got dynamite. And so I remember
Cell phone records.
Yeah, cell phone records. We've got these grainy black and white shots of him in a car. And so I remember I sent Jerry a mail, and I just said, listen, Elliot is blowing up stuff on Gabe's realm.
No, you said somebody might be, right?
Yeah.
You couched it well.
I tried to be cool, and Gabe wants to ban him, and I told him not to. And Jerry just responded with, ban him. Yeah.
Well, no, the reason I said ban him, because there's a period of time, right? There's a length there where I'm talking to Elliot, and I'm trying to figure out. It is actually very difficult to find out if a child is telling the truth.
It's so hard. They lie so well.
Oh God, it is because they're devils, and so. But where he fucked up with me was when I said, "Hey, did you do this stuff?" And then he's going into all this other. He's talking about things that are not what I'm talking about.
Sure.
And then the answer he should have given me was, "I didn't do it."
Yeah.
And the answer he gave me was, there is no way you could know if I did it.
Ah. Yeah, lock him up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's just like beep, beep, beep. I mean, that's...
Right.
God damn it, son.
Kids.
Hey, you are in a position to handle this one.
Am I?
Morak, yes. How has Katie Rice been working out? We should get her down to the gym.
Yeah. She should lift. Get swole.
She can lift, bro.
Do girls get swole? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
I noticed from her tweets that she still seems to be at Penny Arcade despite the year being up. That's true.
Yeah.
Is she leaving soon, or is she there forever now? Go Katie. This is from Allison Moyer in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, Katie's year was up, and I guess theoretically, like, she had won that year.
Yeah, that was the prize,
Yeah,
right?
I suppose it was a prize, but in reality, like, we just ended up really liking Katie, and so we asked if she would just stay, and she did. So yeah, so she is still working in the Penny Arcade office. I mean, as long as she wants to.
Yeah, she works. Her office is between Dabe and Gavin.
Yeah.
Like so I pass her office like anytime I want to leave our office and go somewhere else, she's right there. So I typically have to harangue her about some kind of story thing or like be a Camp Weeda Wancha fan or
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And in terms of how she's working out, like, she's incredibly inspiring.
Well, she's like a resource for you, right?
She's a resource for me. Like, when I decided to start doing this, hey, I'm going to try to sketch all the time thing this year, that's not something I'm good at, but it's something that Katie is very, very good at.
Yeah, she has a little booklet called Weird Little Drawings over in Bandland.
You should go buy it.
I have it on my desk at work. It is incredible.
And so I actually invited her over. She came over a couple weeks ago, and we just spent the night drawing in sketchbooks, and it was the best because, you know, I'm drawing, and I would look over at what she was doing, and it was so inspiring and so good, and I was like, it pushed me to do more and get better. And I can't thank her enough for that. So having her in the office has been incredible.
Yeah, she's great. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But she like doesn't know she's incredible.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's
she
like the
doesn't
One
know.
Direction song.
I don't.
You know,
I don't know. I don't know about One Direction.
okay, well, there's a song like that.
How does it go?
You don't know you're beautiful. Everyone else but you. Until you light up. Just go.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one. Have you visited the Alamo
man, you're missing
yet?
out. You're missing out on this MLP shit. You got to get a daughter right away.
We have not visited the Alamo yet. I guess we should. It's close. We've been sort of busy. I feel like I have a good excuse. But we're here for till Tuesday, so we'll have time.
We'll stop by. It's just right around the corner, as I understand it.
We'll try to remember it.
Remember to remember the Alamo? Is that what you're saying? Remember the Alamo. Don't forget. Don't forget that fucking Alamo. When forced into exile, to which country will you flee? This is from Jay in an undisclosed location.
Oh, so he knows all about it.
Maybe he's already there.
Which country would we flee in exile?
When I ended up in 2003, I ended up going to Germany, and leaving Germany was hard. I think I would like to do that, like be a German
Full time.
professionally.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how the town was like a precision tuned device.
Yeah.
I've never seen a town that functioned like that. It was incredible.
Those Germans, man.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know. We've been to a few different countries, I guess. I think France was probably at the top of our list. In fact, we're talking about wanting to go back there. Like, we were planning a trip back, and I'm like, there's other places we haven't been before. Like, shouldn't we go somewhere new? And we're like, no, I want to go back to Paris. Yeah, I think I would be pretty happy in France.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that was, but
Maybe
going
I won't
to
make
France,
cartoons there, but
Yes. Well, they have a rich cartooning tradition.
too soon.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No,
What?
no, not like that.
They do have a rich cartooning tradition.
I'm not talking about that. It's rich.
Were you to have your own ship, the Jackdaw / Millennium Falcon style, what would you call it
or
and
Ebon
why?
Hawk. Ebon Hawk, right?
This is from Julian in Minnesota.
Excalibur.
What? That's your game thing. No. You can't
No,
do
but
that.
it would have different masts that you could put in.
Put in there like Thor's. I would probably call it the Gambler. I mean, I did have a boat for a while, and I called it the Gambler. It was named the Gambler.
Wait, now it's not taken, right?
No.
You can just use it
I
again.
can use it again, absolutely.
Oh, the Rampart.
That doesn't make any sense.
To Jerry, what the crap is your obsession with insectoid analogies?
Oh my God. At least other people recognize it too. All you fucking talk about is carapaces and hive queens
But
and
mandibles,
like throbbing abdomens and mandibles.
And-
Every comic would be about mandibles if it was up to you.
and the occasional thorax.
Yeah. What is it?
Well,
You just like those words, I know.
well, yeah. I mean, it's like I need an excuse to say those words.
Yeah, I remember
and so
when
I'm always trying to fit them into conversations, even if there's no place for them.
was it when Gabe was born and Kara's mom came out and she's like, there are some troubles because Gabe was all like wrapped up in the cords and stuff that are in there. I don't know.
It was like I'm not down on. I mean, obviously, I support Kara 100%, but it took her a long time.
He was literally tied to her.
Yeah, listen, 100%. Like I have your back, but I'm saying that. But we were out there, like we were worried.
Sure.
Because you were the first of
Well,
us.
you know you were not. You were playing Burnout.
Well, yeah.
You had
but
brought an Xbox to the hospital.
yeah.
What's great is there was that other dad because it's all in one wing, and this other dad was out there, and his wife is having a baby, and he comes out to like get her some juice, and he's all sweaty. He's like, oh, "Hey, you guys playing Burnout?" He like sits down, and then we hear that woman scream for him,
And he's like,
"Oh, I gotta go."
But no, so Kara, that's you, Kara, right?
She's way up in the balcony.
Is that you? Okay. So Kara, when you were working your hardest, Pork Fry and Brad and I were out in the lobby playing Burnout, and we were like, if we get 10,000 points in this level, that's gonna help Kara. So we were there with you the whole way.
But she came out and she's like, "There's some complications," and you're like, "Does he have a thorax?" Why is that your go-to? Does the baby have a thorax?
No, because she came out with these dark pronouncements, and we were like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll let them tell you." And it's like, well, she's fucking busy right now. She can't tell me that
Mandibles.
stuff. Here.
He didn't have a thorax. Yeah.
Yeah.
To Jerry, what the... that's the one.
Read
Why
the
did
second
you,
one. The second
oh,
one's
the
for you.
second part. To Mike. Oh. Seriously, what the crap is wrong with Jerry? Travis in Houston. I don't know, man. A lot.
It is the most shameful thing that has ever happened.
Not great. And there was music for it. Looking back through the archives, Mike's change in art style is evident. Jerry, how do you think your writing style has changed? Have you ever tried to consciously change it? Brian, Rochester, New York.
Yeah, I mean, so the writing of this strip is a collaboration, and so because
It's a collab.
yeah, it's a collabo.
Yeah.
And so
It's a Chris collabo.
Yeah. So when we work on that stuff together, like it's more constrained because there's two gatekeepers, right? Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, like there are some comics we don't do, and so when the two of us are working on something like that keeps things within a certain level. But in the news post, like I experiment all the time. Like I do all kinds of really weird things, and I appreciate your hanging around for it. But yeah, it's like a toy for me, and I know that if I just turn it around enough, I'm gonna find something really interesting about it.
I don't think that was a red envelope. I don't think he understands the concept.
I told you, colorblind. If you could talk to that high school teacher you had, you know the one I'm talking about, what would you say to them? Imagine that they couldn't respond to you, almost like your response is cast over some gigantic information net, if you will. So who's your teacher? Was it the art teacher in high school?
I think it'd be Mr. Strand, my art teacher in high school. He let me do a lot. He let me get away with a lot of stuff. I mean, there was a phase. I think it was in my junior year of high school, where he actually let me teach a cartooning class.
That's right.
Like I think he could tell that I needed to be pushed and sort of challenged, and so I assembled materials and I like created a lesson plan and taught the class cartooning. And then in my senior year, I think it was my senior year, I actually got my first art job was to work on this Mark Kistler and the Draw Squad book.
Imagination Station?
It was the Imagination Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still probably find the book out there. Mark Kistler was this guy who dressed as an astronaut and taught kids how to draw on PBS. and I worked on him with one of his books, and he let me work on that book during class hours.
Oh, wow.
And he helped me, like he would push me to do more, and like it was great. Like I guess I would just say, thank you for giving me that freedom and challenging me the way that you did.
Yeah. For me, I mean, you have different teachers that you sort of need at different times in your life. And what I actually needed, when I was 18 is I needed a teacher who would not take my shit. Because I was used to...
You had a lot of shit to give back then, I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, you got some of it. But, when I was that age, I was sort of used to being... I was just sort of used to being like that, like, too smart for his own good asshole. And I was used to getting away with a lot of shit because I was so quirky and I was so interesting.
Yeah.
Right? And then this man was just like a brick wall. I couldn't get away with anything. I couldn't get away with any of that stuff. I had to actually learn the mechanics of language and writing. And I couldn't just italicize everything and be interesting. I had to work hard, and he made me do it.
I'll give you that. Give me that. Will there be a second season of Strip Search? And if so, when can we expect it? Adrian Bishop, Oklahoma City. We would be crazy not to try and do another season because it was super popular. But it's very, very hard to do, and a lot of things have to come together for us to do another one. But we are actively trying to get those things to come together.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to imagine. Like at this point, it's hard to imagine a time where we didn't know, like Katie or
Abby or Maki.
Yeah,
Lexi.
I don't remember that time.
I mean, the reality is you can go to the Motiga booth right now.
This is legit. Go ahead.
So if you go to the Motiga booth and you want to see Gigantic, that booth is designed by Lexi because she works at Motiga now. Like, all of these people have gone on to such great success. Like, I want to do that again. I want to launch 12 more careers.
I want to find 12 more people
Yeah.
who just need the slightest push. And here's the reality. I have talked to a lot of people here at the show that they did not get on the show, and Strip Search still changed their life.
They were still inspired by it.
Because they recommitted themselves to art.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's a big production, and we want to do it, and I can't say when for sure it'll happen.
But it's something that we want to do too. As you are both fathers, can you share with a future parent the correct way to hold a child while playing a game? Please demonstrate on each other.
Well, no. What you need to do, what I did with Gabe.
Well, also, but the games you can play. So this is actually fun. The genres you can play change as they age.
Right.
So when he was young,
brand new,
adventure games,
one click, right? Because you got the baby football style in one arm, but you can still click with the other hand. And then they're a little older, and you can put them in one of these little basket things right next to the chair.
Just like a picnic basket.
Yeah. So then
just
you're just playing WoW, and every once in a while you give it a little rock, and you play your raid. You give it a little rock. They're babies; they don't know.
And then they get to be 10, and then you can just play with it. They actually have their own chair by then.
Right. But yeah, the main thing is, I remember playing Myst when Gabe was born, because it's one of those things where, everybody knows this, even if you don't have kids, the idea that you're just up all the time. Babies wake up in the middle of the night. And the way that we had sort of resolved to handle that situation was, instead of going to sleep and then waking up and going to sleep and waking up, I just decided to stay up and basically take the night shift until 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning.
So, but this is an important thing. You, in the same way that you would not just go on a heroic raid without planning, you need a strategy for this nighttime shit.
You need a plan
beforehand.
For that. Yeah.
Beforehand.
So I'd just stay up, and when he was fussy, I would just hold him in one arm and I would play Myst. I don't remember which one was it that came out right then. It was
4.
Myst 4. Yeah, you just need to find the right game, but you can absolutely do it.
I'm not going to hold you like a baby.
Thanks.
That's not in the cards.
I don't want you to hold me like a baby.
Well, it's great, because I'm not going to do it.
Okay. If you tried, I wouldn't let you.
Yeah, and I don't want to anyway, so it's fine.
If you tried right now, if you came over here and tried, I would stop you.
Jerry, you're a you're a professional writer who takes actual medicine to remind my brain that I'm not being actively chased by jaguars. That's in quotes. I want to write professionally, but it's hard for me to write every day. I feel that it takes a lot of emotional energy to be creative, and sometimes writing can be physically painful for me. How do you make writing less painful or force yourself to do it every day?
Red envelope.
Yeah, red envelope.
That's a hard question.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely, if it didn't take emotional energy, I would say that you probably weren't doing it right. So it's true that it requires an expenditure of self. But once you commit to it, and once you finish the piece, you get that energy back and then a little bit more. But you have to commit, even if it is not the most fun thing you want. When we started, we would come home from work. I would come home from doing IT shit. You would be stocking stuff until midnight, right?
Yeah.
And then at 1 o'clock in the morning, we would have to do the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we had decided early on that there would have to be a strip up every day that we said there would be a strip up.
Right.
And a lot of times that meant making the strip at 1 in the morning.
Right. So for me, honestly, the most valuable thing for me in terms of actually writing and trying to put stuff out there on a regular basis is that I know you are there and you're expecting it. If I didn't have that system, if I didn't have their help, their expectation of it, it would be very challenging. And so it may be that they need to give this schedule not for themselves but for someone else.
Sure.
I find that I need someone else's help. I need a place for that writing to go.
But also this idea that art has to be this torturous thing where if you're not, assaulted by demons, then you're not making your real art. That was definitely scary when we started talking about going on medication. Like, what if I lose that spark? Like, what if the act of being in fear all the time?
What if self-hatred is what I need to be creative?
Right. And that's not the case.
No.
Like, you don't have to be in that state to make good work. If you did Strip Search again, would you open it to writer-artist teams rather than only multi-instrumentalists?
Yeah, I mean, that's been my fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that would be one way to do it, right? So at the different Paxes, the Omegathons all have slightly different rules. And I've always thought that another season of Strip Search, it might be interesting.
Yeah, to get teams.
To get teams in.
It would be tricky, but I think we could do it.
Oh, absolutely. As in general, I think people could root for those teams.
The last red envelope. Mike, Jerry, what hopes do you have for the relationship that your children will have with each other in the future? That's interesting. I don't know. They don't really see each other. It was neat when we did go to Florida together. That was like the most time they've ever spent together, and they got along pretty well.
They got along super well.
If your son would stop blowing up my son's shit, I think they could be good friends.
You think there's room?
Yeah.
I'll talk to him.
Okay. No, I think it would be cool if they're friends. They're very much like, it's funny that each of us had sort of a firstborn that is identical to us.
Right.
And then had a second kid that is completely opposite. So I think that those two could probably have a relationship at some point.
Yeah, it was really fun when we were doing all those long drives to NASA.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have to, like, they just built a relationship there in the back seat. Like, we didn't have to touch it at all. Like, they just worked out perfectly.
It was pretty cool.
Do Robert Koo and Bernie Burns dream of a partnership together?
They're definitely business friends. Like, they like to talk about numbers and stuff together. It's cute. They talk about overheads.
Well, and in Q1.
Q1, what's that going to be like? I don't know. I can't understand anything they talk about. They could be enemies.
Yeah. We might not be getting the subtext.
Yeah, we might not understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Robert keeps very close tabs on Rooster Teeth. I know that, I mean, even years and years and years ago, I know that Robert basically thought that he had it in his mind. He knew that they were going to be huge.
Yeah, Robert called it very early that Rooster Teeth was going to be big, and he was right. Why does Jerry use the word apex predator so much? From a low-level predator, the Serengeti. You do use it a lot. There's just certain words that you sort of like, I can tell.
Well, yeah, so, but it's the I need the concept.
It's very high concept.
Well, yeah. It's a shorthand, because I tend to think about things as they intersect in complex systems.
Sure, who doesn't? I'm always thinking about intersections in complex systems. Man, if I had a nickel. Thinking about it right now. Oh man, these complex systems and their intersections. Whew! Give me more of that.
Question for Jerry for research purposes. It's just going to keep coming, I guess. Presumably, you still have vestiges of follicle activity on your head? So how often do you need to shave it? And do you do it yourself? Have there been any shaving accidents? Basically, lots of questions about your head. I shave it once a week. On Saturday, Brandon from Portland, Oregon, who is very curious about my scalp.
I need to send him a picture of you from my wedding with that full head of blonde hair.
It wasn't especially full.
It was full. It was pretty full.
You should look at it again.
Okay.
You should look at it again. It looks like a fungal growth.
Yeah,
It's not substantial.
Look at what you did.
Go fuck yourself.
For a single strip, would you ever switch jobs just to see what the outcome would be? P.S. Hi, Mom. Sandalwood, New York. We've done that a few times.
Not really, though. We
No,
wrote.
you
no,
drew.
No. I have drawn, but we still wrote them together.
Oh, you've never written one that No, I've never written one that you drew.
Right.
That's true.
Should we do it?
You could try it, sure.
I
could use a break.
I've been drawing a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I'm getting really good.
I would love to see how the other side lives. What's it like to just like write the idea in the morning and then have it show up fully formed in your inbox?
And then play League of Legends all afternoon.
Yeah, that must be great.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last question.
10 seconds left. Can we answer? Oh my God, it's going to take me 10 seconds just to read this.
Go.
First, I thank you for taking time not only to be available for so many questions, but for always sharing so much of yourselves openly and honestly. It appears to be completely natural to you, but it is in fact incredibly rare in this day and age and a big part of what makes Penny Arcade so special. My question for you, I thoroughly enjoyed Twisp and Catsby, and for some reason these characters more than other PA characters evoke very particular voices for themselves when I read them in my head. Both vaguely British, with Twisp more well-educated and aloof and Catsby more like a British Dick Dastardly. How do they sound in your minds? And do the other characters have particular voices, accents, dialects, etc. that you hear when you're writing/reading their lines? Dustin, Lafayette, Indianapolis, maybe? I don't know where that is. Thank you guys for coming to PAX.